I'd like to call the Tuesday, October 1st meeting to order. First, I'd like to ask you to please rise for our invocation and our pledge, done by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Travis.
Heavenly Father, give us the long view of our work and our world. Help us to see that it's better to fail in a cause that will ultimately succeed than to succeed in a cause that will ultimately fail. May your will be done here, and may your program be carried out above personality and for the good of the people of the city of Oldsmar. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. It's October, hard to believe. Where has the year gone? Our first item tonight on the agenda is our Citizens Open Forum, where we give you a chance to speak to anything on or that's not on the agenda. We only have 3 rules. Don't talk towards anything on the agenda. State your name and address clearly for the record, and keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. I'll look to the crowd on this side over here. Jerry. How about this side? Yep, Rock.
Hey, Beavis, how are you?
Good.
Rock Crease, 603 Shore Drive East, Oldsmar, Florida. First thing I got to say, Janice, I read in the paper last week. I don't know what to say, but you've been a fighter for Oldsmar your entire time. And you've helped me out. Me and you had differences. And you're a fighter. And what you said, I know you're going to keep fighting. You're going to be here for a long time. Me and you are going to be seeing eye to eye for a long time. So I'll leave it at that.
I need her over here so I can keep her.
Yep, she's a keeper. Anyway, guys, I don't come up here. I watch you on TV. I do everything else. I've said that to a couple of you. I'm usually out of town. I'm sequestered right now, so the federal government. I'm free. Hopefully I'll be off for a week, I hope. Couple things I want to say. Right away, you helped me out, the backyard swales. You came out there, walked through there. You started digging it. I couldn't believe that. The next week you were out there, and I sent you guys all an email because I couldn't come up here to thank you for that. And I know you still have more work to do. They couldn't do anything more with the rain came. But just what you have done, you've done about a third of what really needs to be done. It has helped tremendously because we've had more rain the last couple of months. I got a rain gauge, so I watch it, and my backyard floods, but it actually drains. And the one thing, being an environmental guy, I deal with the stuff with Swift Mud and environmental permits and everything. I had a contractor in my yard right after you guys started digging through there, as you actually digging through there, and it smelled like a cesspool behind my house. And the contractor said, "What's happened? You got raw sewage back here?" I said, "No, they're digging out the swale." That's all the stuff that over the years have went back there. Yeah. So, and just digging up what you've dug up so far, has helped tremendously. So I can't wait for that to be done because that's going to make a giant difference. And I know the bay comes up and goes down and everything else, but you've really helped out a lot because my backyard, like I said, it floods, but it actually does drain again because they drain both ways. So I can't wait for the dry season to come so you contractor can actually finish that. So I appreciate that. And I emailed everybody, and hopefully you got them emails and you know that. A couple of things I want to talk about real quick. Bruce, trees. You guys passed all these ordinances, and I don't care about the rest of Oldsmar, but Shore Drive, Lafayette, and Bayshore, can you make sure the trees are trimmed to 14 feet, like your ordinance says? Okay. And you know why? My boat's 12 feet high, and I got antenna. I lost another antenna last week. Oh. So you guys passed the ordinances. You passed the ones with parking across the sidewalks, people's dogs crapping in your front yard, and I'm sure nobody's ever collected a penny for any of that.
But I'm familiar. I remember the 14-foot thing.
Okay. Yeah, you guys passed it because of the fire department. Your trucks were being torn up. So you guys passed that. So at least them 2 streets anyway. If you could do that, I appreciate it. I could care less if the rest goes down to 5 feet. Doesn't matter. I drive on them 2 roads. Golf cart issue. You guys addressed that. I got emails from you. I still see some there, and 2 more the other day on the weekend when I was working on my truck, waxing and everything else. I don't care if people have golf carts. You guys, I think, didn't you already pass something somewhere to somebody? Collier, okay. I could care less if you have golf carts in Shore Drive. I think it's kind of cool because it's Shore Drive. You're right there by the water. You're driving around. either enforce it or make sure that guy back there takes care of it. One of the two. Because it kind of sucks when you're walking on the sidewalk at 10 o'clock at night and all of a sudden a golf cart comes screaming down there.
Yeah.
The other thing I would really ask you, if you could do this, a sign on Shore Drive. You know where I live on Shore Drive? It's kind of like sweeping turn. Well, I shouldn't say you guys, but Bruce Haddock was the only one still here when you put the sidewalks 50 feet up on Shore Drive. You know what I'm talking about. 2 houses down from me, the people park like 6 pickup trucks in the driveway. They have nowhere to park them, so they park them, of course, on the other side of the sidewalk, which is 50 feet up. You can't see a damn thing. When I back out of my driveway, I can't see a thing. I back up and I look down and there's nothing. And the road is a nice sweeping turn, and everybody knows nobody does 25 miles an hour on Shore Drive. Please put a sign up down there that just says slow blind curve, so I get tired, I can't even get out of my truck and look and get back in my truck and back up before somebody comes by. And you can't see anything. And I'm tired of people flipping me a bird because I'm backing out on the street. So at least you put a sign up. I don't know if that'll help me at all, but maybe somebody will pay a little more attention because it's actually blind. You can't see a thing.
You're talking about what would be the 700 block?
Yeah, yep, coming this way on Shore Drive, heading...
Same side of the street that you're on?
Yes. And you know what I'm saying. You've been there. I mean, you got that street, sidewalks 50 feet up, and you got 2 or 3 pickup trucks on the other side. You can't see a thing.
Like Dunkirk that way. Dunkirk south.
We're making notes.
Thank you. And the other thing, and I brought this up before, I don't know if you can do anything about it. St. Pete Drive, where it hits Tampa Road, you guys, you got people coming this way on Forest Lakes Boulevard, making a right-hand turn. You're coming down St. Pete Drive, you hit Tampa Road, you're making a left. You don't own that. It belongs to the Department of Transportation. Can somebody put turning lane stripes? You know what I'm saying? So when you drive and you're coming out of Forest Lakes this way, to turn into the lane you're supposed to turn into. Deputy, you know what I'm talking about? Just like on Tampa Road in
you're talking about St. Pete
Booth.
Drove in 580, not Tampa Road, you're talking about 580 and...
Yeah, 580, not Tampa Road, 580,
and
excuse me.
Forest Lakes and St. Pete Drive.
Yeah,
It is kind of a mess.
It's frustrating as could be because you get one person who just stops and sits there and waits for all the traffic the other way, and you can turn. You're supposed to turn in the lane nearest you, when people are green and they're coming the other way, if you had stripes there,
it's not real
maybe
clear.
that would let somebody know, hey, hello, you're supposed to be in this line. I realize you can't cure stupid, but...
There's only one lane.
There's 2 going right.
Well, when you're coming out the other way, what happens is the people coming the other way, coming this way on Forest Lakes.
South on Forest Lakes.
Yeah, they should be turning into their lane. Instead, they come across 2 lanes of traffic and just sit there and,
Right.
Yeah, it is confusing.
Yeah, it is. And it's frustrating when you sit there sometimes 2 or 3 lights to get out. That's why everybody comes down that little street next to the barber shop, and you got the speed bumps there because they're getting fed up with coming down St. Pete Drive.
Right.
I don't know, if you could look into that, I'd appreciate it.
We're taking notes on that as well. So we'll see. That's
But anyway-
that's a DOT thing, so that's...
Yeah, I know, it is a
little bit-
DOT thing, so that has to go somewhere else, but the deputy knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
But
about.
anyway, like I said, I've looked at all your meetings, I watch you on TV, I do everything, and keep up the good work. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank
Rob.
you.
Anyone else, Tony? I know you...
Is that DVD?
Yep, it's coming on.
My name is Tony Gross, 711 Satin Leaf Avenue, Oldsmar, Florida. And this is a friend of mine. Oh, you want me to go? Just tell me.
My name's Carrie Cowan, and I'm a Gold Star wife.
Okay, and this is my neighbor,
Mark Brill, 707 Satin Leaf.
and this is the husband of Eileen right there. There's a lot of energy up here. Here I am once again, thanking my community's leaders, for supporting me with the Gold Star Mothers and Families Day Ceremony Sunday at Oldsmar's beautiful Veterans Memorial Park. It was a perfect location for such an event, as you can see from the photos. My hope is that perhaps this could become an annual event, the only one of its kind so far in the Tampa Bay area. I'm leaving that up to you. Please consider adding this to an upcoming agenda for your approval. hopefully. My thanks to the veterans, the Gold Star families, the Blue Star families, my neighbors, my friends, and the many volunteers that helped make this a success. And I'd like to give Gabby a special thank you. And we all know her as Mr. Gabby McGee. A special thank you and a gift for her excellent, warm welcome.
Thank you, Tony. I was honored.
And Carrie would like to say a couple of words about the event.
Unfortunately, I am not a resident of the great city of Oldsmar, for which I am a little disappointed at the moment. I would like to say that I too would like to express my gratitude for the city of Oldsmar in supporting the installation and the dedication of the Fallen Soldiers Battle Cross at Veterans Memorial Park this past Sunday. And I would particularly like to thank Gabby for appearing at the ceremony. Your commitment to speaking on behalf of the city and in support of Gold Star Mothers and Families Day is greatly appreciated. Gold Star Mothers and Families is endeavoring to make this time-honored day of remembrance an annual event. This year's event at Veterans Memorial Park was remarkably well executed and well attended. It provided a welcoming and safe place for families of the fallen to join together and share their journeys through the grief of losing a loved one in the spirit of patriotism. This event also provided the community and the city of Oldsmar an opportunity to demonstrate their unconditional commitment to the families of the fallen. As we move forward, I would like to encourage you, and as you consider your 2022 strategic vision in partnering with families, businesses, and visitors to make Oldsmar a creative, vibrant, and thriving community, that you include a partnership with Gold Star Mothers and Families and help them make this an annual event. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
And once again, I would like to thank each of you. I know it was a warm day. It wasn't a wet day, and
Well, that's fine.
I mean, we did do our amount of sweating, but it was a warm day. And hopefully, maybe next year, if it's approved to become an annual event, that perhaps we can have it earlier, like 10 o'clock in the morning or 11. Even though we had lots of suntan lotion and water.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much. I appreciate each one of you, and you're standing behind me. I think Oldsmar is a unique community in that you have embraced this family, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
I got to say, it was a great event and very touching speeches that are very difficult for families and brothers and sisters to talk about, and makes you think. And you asked me when we were there if I thought it could be an annual event, and you certainly have my support. And I think I think that's why that park is there, is for people to remember. And Johnny Ruckert's efforts were just, I had heard what it looked like, but I hadn't seen it. And when I saw it in person, I'm just amazed at the kid. You know, it's incredible. So you've got my support, whatever we need to do. So do we need to put something like that on the agenda for consideration?
Well, I think first, you'd want to ask the Veterans Memorial Park Committee and the
That's right.
Leisure Services Advisory Board to,
Weigh in on it.
so
That's what I thought. Yeah.
we can put it on their agendas.
Yep.
We have a meeting come up.
Yep.
Thank you.
I will leave this DVD with you all.
Thank you.
Great.
Tony. Thank you so much. They're beautiful.
And Mr. McGee did a great job.
Thank you,
You
Tony.
stole my thunder. I was going to call her that.
For anyone that wasn't there, they did announce me as Mr. Gabby McGee.
Mr. Gabby
That's
McGee.
what we're all talking about. And this woman approached me after, and she said, "I'm so glad that you went up there and you're a woman, just to show them that it's not all men on councils."
We didn't believe him anyway.
Anybody else in the room like to address the council?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Eileen Brill. I live at 707 Satin Leaf Avenue, Oldsmar, Florida. I just have a question about something that happened at a council meeting several weeks ago. It was the second reading for the Tuscany Woods property, and my husband Mark had come up and requested additional language be inserted into the ordinance, and it was granted. The motion was made using that additional language, but it was defeated. And then I think, Mayor, you were the one that threw that negative vote in that defeated it, because the first reading, it was 3-2 to pass. And once that language went in, you didn't like the language, so you voted no. So then people were asking you, well, why did you vote no? You voted yes the first time, and you said, well, it was because of the language. And then another motion said, well, let's make another motion to take the language out. I just wondered, how many motions can you make before you get what you want, or can you just keep making motions to get your vote that you want? I thought once a motion was made, and I could be wrong, I'm just asking what's the protocol, what's legal, what can you do? Can this be done at all the meetings? Like if you have a motion that fails, can you turn around and hurry up and make a new motion so that you get your vote that you want?
And I'll just say this, and I'll answer, but Tom can answer it. I obviously was not the only one that voted, or if I was the only one, it would have passed 4-1. But in answer to your question, as long as the motion is different than the original motion, I believe, if I'm correct, you can make an additional motion. But I'll let Tom address that.
Yeah, what we're basically looking for is a positive motion that passes. And once a positive motion passes, then we would move on. And if there would need, if the council wanted to do something further than that, it would be a motion for reconsideration of that other motion. So the first motion failed because it was not a positive motion. The second motion passed. It was a positive motion. That's the action that took place. So if someone wanted to change that, then they would have to either at that meeting, sometime during that meeting, do a motion for reconsideration, or the immediate meeting following it. And neither one of those things happened. So that motion stood and that ordinance passed.
Okay. It was just confusing because after it failed, and then there were questions to you, Mr. Mayor, about, well, why did you vote no this time? And then I heard somebody say, is this legal? Can we do this? And then it just seemed like just in a hurry and to get it passed. And it's been bothering me ever since. I haven't had an opportunity to come here to ask. And I figured, well, since I'm going to be here tonight, I just feel better just bringing it out and asking you.
It's an excellent question, and a very valid question. And it wasn't so much that I voted no, it was on the advice of staff, and I believe council too, that weighed in on the verbiage that was in there, and they recommended not. So I'm not putting it on you. I'm just saying that the week before, it was 3-2, and then when the additional language was added in, it was 3-2 the other way. Then and then like I said, it was just let's make another motion, blah, and it just, to me anyway, sitting in the audience, it looked like, is this legal? Can you do this type of thing? And I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but it was just I wanted to get a clarification on. That's a fair question.
Whatever.
Eileen also, I think right after he made the motion, I understood why and I asked him why he made the motion, to clarify for everybody. But I think the reasoning that we heard was that, and Mark brought up a good point, like what if they try to change the site plan or something of that nature? We should put a timeline on, when they need to complete it. We didn't necessarily want to restrict with a timeline. However, we also clarified that if any changes were made, they would have to come before council no matter what. So we felt like at the time, or those of us that voted against it with the language, was that it kind of seemed like a moot point, because no matter what, they were going to have to come before us and we'd have to vote. And so I think that's why that happened.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Anybody else like to address council? Seeing nobody, I'll close the citizens open forum. The first item tonight is our consent docket. Approve the minutes of August 6, 2013 City Council meeting. And the second item, approve minutes of the August 20th, 2013 City Council meeting. Anybody wish to pull the minutes? Seeing none, I'll take a motion. Motion and a second. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. The next item on the agenda is the City of Oldsmar. It's a proclamation for National Fire Prevention, and I will read that. 2013 Fire Prevention Week, whereas the City of Oldsmar is committed to ensure the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our city, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the location where people are at greatest risk for fire, and whereas home fires killed more than 2,500 people in the United States in 2011, according to the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, and fire departments in the United States responded to 370,000 home fires. And whereas cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States, with 2 of every 5 home fires starting in the kitchen, unattended equipment was a factor in 1/3 of the reported cooking fires. And whereas Oldsmar residents should stay in the kitchen when frying food on the stovetop, keep a 3-foot kid-free zone around the cooking areas, and keep anything that can catch fire away from the stovetops. And whereas 57% of the reported non-fatal home cooking fire injuries occurred when the victims tried to fight the fire themselves, and whereas children under 5 face a higher risk of non-fire burns associated with cooking than being burned in a cooking fire, and whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half, and whereas October's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrences of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education, and whereas the 2013 Fire Prevention Week theme, Prevent Kitchen Fires, effectively serves to remind us to stay alert and use caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. Now, therefore, I, Doug Beavis, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim October 6th through 12th, 2013 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city, and I urge all citizens of Oldsmar to participate by checking their kitchens for fire hazards and using safe cooking practices during Fire Prevention Week 2013, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Oldsmar's Fire and Emergency Services dated first day of October 2013. Mr. O'Neill, would you like to come up? I'll do my part by eating out all week. How about that?
Outstanding. This is the 142nd anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire, October 9th, 1871. And each year we look at different aspects that we want to encourage people to do fire safety, and this year kitchen fires. Again, one of the most dangerous times, and the holidays are coming up, and a lot of people are spending a lot of time in the kitchens. This is a time that people can get hurt, especially the kids running around and families around. So we're going to spend this month going out to the communities and to the schools and doing some extra fire prevention with our kids and parents in the area as well. So great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our next item is the city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Item number 4 on your agenda is the first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2013-19. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2013-19, an ordinance declaring the intention of the city of Oldsmar, Florida, to annex certain real property located in section 22, township 28 south, range 16 east, further described as 3128 Huron Avenue, into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance. That was a reading of ordinance 2013-19 by title only, and it requires a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody from the public wish to address this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Motion, and I need a second. Got a second. Motion and a second. We call and roll.
Yeah, discussion and then.
Any discussion? Obviously, Jerry says one at a time. And call the roll.
Councilmember Beaverland?
One more, yes.
Vice Mayor Moore? Yes. Councilmember Mickey?
Yes.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Mayor Beavis?
Aye.
First reading of ordinance 2013-19, annexing 3128 Huron Avenue is passed with 5 votes for and 0 against.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item, authorize appropriate officials to execute encroachment agreement with Duke Energy for State Street extension. As you know, the project is under construction now, and State Street is platted all the way through, and we're connecting 2 pieces. It goes through or across the Duke Energy transmission right-of-way, and that's the need for the encroachment agreement. The agreement that was in the packet has not been finalized. We don't expect any significant changes, but as an example, there's a statement in there that we're the applicant on this, that we would not use any equipment that extended more than 12 feet above ground. We asked that to change that to 14. So as part of the approval tonight, what I'm asking is that the council authorize the appropriate officials to execute the agreement subject to any revisions approved by the city attorney and the city manager. I didn't really want to wait another 2 weeks because the contractor is on the job now, working there, and we don't want to tell him to stop work while we're waiting on this. So I am recommending your approval of the agreement with Duke Energy.
I am fine with that. Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Being as you told me that I couldn't bring something up I shouldn't, I'm going to do it anyway now.
What a shock.
Just want to remind everybody that State Street went through in 1918 and 1919. We owned State Street to start with. We owned the right-of-way to start with. Florida Power came through and never paid us for that. They need to be asking us for permission.
But we need to bill them, right?
Well, we did that with the gas company. But just want to let y'all know that we were there first. We owned that right away. They never compensated for putting their power in there, and we still own that right away. We don't have to ask them for permission for anything, but we are, and I won't bring any more up. I'll be quiet.
Good to know.
Add to their long list of customers they already owe then.
And I passed out the exhibit. I think all of you know where this is located.
Yeah.
And so that would become an attachment to the agreement, actually.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Aye, passes 5-0 with a history lesson.
Thank you.
Should I vote no on that, Tom?
No, you did the right thing.
Item 6, presentation regarding name change for Hayes Park project. You'll recall that, I think it was in the spring, but one of the meetings when the council was reviewing or approving something related to the Hayes Park Cottages project, we had a brief discussion or conversation with Mr. Buse about, maybe there would be another name that everyone liked better, or the possibility of that. And so I believe that John and Brian are here tonight to share something with us, I believe.
We just like to have him come up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. Good evening. John Buse, 150 State Street East. We do have something to show. It wasn't that we have a lot of different choices for you. We thought about it. We have a long list of names. But as we asked around and talked to several people, I actually got the opposite of why are you changing it. It's always been Hayes something. So with that in mind, what we came up with is 3 names that we wanted to show you, all of which have Hayes in the title, to get some feedback. We really like it. If you'll flip the slide, these are just some, this first slide is really theme shots of the monuments and the style of hardscapes, which will be the signage and things in the community, not the houses. Can you fast forward? There's this is some pavers and some planting that's going in the park green. This is all from our landscape architect. And the next 3 slides should be this first one will stop here. This is the monument sign where we have the light posts, the signage, which there'll be 4 of these, and then the planter example of the planters, the raised planters, which we have scattered throughout the community. So this is more of a theming picture to show you tonight. And the signage, we have 3 of this exact same picture. One of the names that we shortlisted is Hayes Park Village. Kind of had a reminiscent to Hyde Park Village and some other what I would call historic names. The next one is Hayes Park Cottages, which is what the nickname has been almost since the inception. And last but not least, Hayes Park, which also in a sign tends to lend itself nicely as from a very permanent place. So those are the 3 names. I wish we had this long laundry list of wonderful names. We have saved a lot of the good names for the lanes in the community from the Historic Society and from Gabby provided us some names, none of which floated to the surface in terms of the name. So what I'd ask from you tonight is some feedback on if you like any of them or hate them all, to give us some direction. I'm not.
Village.
I like Village. I like them all. I presented 3 that I thought we were happy with all 3.
but by no means are we married to them. So we would like to get some feedback from you. Is it appropriate to ask now, Bruce? We're not really voting.
I think so.
We're not
Yeah, I mean,
voting on anything. I assume we're just like
Are
formally
you looking
voting.
for us to decide? Is that?
I'm looking for some feedback. Either A, that we need to keep working on it. B, you like one, or you don't care if either one of those three work.
We'll start with Janice. I heard you say. I mean, get your opinion, your thought on the three. And
Actually, I like village. However, cottages sound so
Nice.
homey and inviting. Yeah, I'm going to go with cottages.
Jerry?
I want villages.
Okay.
Listen, I'll go
No, I want your opinion. I don't want you to go with whatever. That's why you're up here, for your opinion.
Because they're all fine. Cottages kind of sounds it does sound homey, but it's also, they're not cottages.
Makes it seem small.
So, I like Hayes.
Well, they're not. You're right.
I like Hayes Park Village. But
Okay, well, that was my first.
The only one I don't like is Hayes Park, because that sounds like it's a park.
Yes.
And it's more of like a housing. I like both Hayes Park Village and Hayes Park Cottage, but I think Hayes Park Village probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like Cottage because it's cute and everything,
Yeah.
but
But they're not cottages.
they're homes.
they're not cottages.
Right. So I like Hayes Park Village.
Yeah.
Mr. McGee?
I'm gonna get that forever. I love all three. Hyde Park Village in Tampa is more of a retail area and, more of like a shopping area versus people, when they say they live in Hyde Park, they say Hyde Park. So I like Hayes Park. I think it sounds good. It is going to have a little park area there for that community. And I have to say, your landscape architect is awesome because the
I like the
signage,
sign, yeah.
all of that is great, and I can't wait to see it up and about.
Great.
If I had money, I'd buy one too.
I'll give you my negative. I don't like Hayes Park. Not that I don't like it. We have so many parks in Oldsmar already. I don't want it to just seem like it's another park, because it's not another park. It's a community where people live. I agree with kind of the Hayes Park cottages. While they're cute and bungalowy, cottages to me seem smaller. I think Village appears to me to be a richer, I don't mean richer as in dollar amount, but just a nicer thing. And I agree with Gabby with the Hyde Park Village as a shopping area, but also when you think of some of the northern, their communities were called villages. You had villages, and so I tend to like the Hayes Park Village. So
Okay.
It's unanimous.
Did we make it easier or harder on you?
No, that's great.
Well, we got,
I don't think it's official or formal, but we're not making the signs yet today, but we want to bring it for council because we're working on it. And the font, we want to get the font just perfect, and we want to get the name.
I love the font too. I love the picture looks great.
Yeah, I do too.
yeah, it's nice. Is that guy going to be standing there, or girl, or whatever?
No, Mr. Beaverland, that guy will not be in the final product.
On our art and public paces, I hope.
The circles and the letters won't be there either.
Okay, good.
But this is the drawing of the monuments that are being executed out of the construction documents from the landscape architect.
I don't think we have to do anything else.
No, sir.
Have you guys?
You've already got our.
Great.
When will everything be finished?
Figured you'd ask that. We are finishing some public works comments from Stantec. Unfortunately, Mr. Jesse has been deathly ill for the past 10 days. He was out of the office, so we're behind. But we're very confident that Public Works gave us a great list, and Jesse knows exactly what to do. And any day now, he'll be finishing the drawings to submit for the permit. So we're ready. We're actually, believe it or not, waiting to start for once. The rain didn't do us any favors, but we weren't out there in the muck, so we're okay. It's been staked for silt fence, and we have a clearing and grubbing permit, so we could get out there and do some work, but we won't really turn any real dirt until we get the permit issued from Public Works.
And that date was, so I can write that down? That was,
I would, Lisa, once you get it, you only need it for a day or so, right?
yeah.
So Jesse has been told that this Friday is his deadline to finish his drawings. So if we use next week, I'll be comfortable and tell him that it's been on public record that he has to come before you if he doesn't do it. I would love. So about, we say the 8th for permit. That would be great for me.
No, I'm just glad, excited. I mean, I remember when we had this discussion years ago about this, and we were assembling property and all that, and it seemed like, wow, is this really going to happen? But it's neat, and Kudos to you for all the efforts you've put in, definitely.
Well, as I mentioned in my email, it's your patience. It's going on 6 years since Bruce and I first had an informal conversation, so I have a lot more gray hair since then.
John, just for anybody that might be watching that may not be familiar, do you mind telling them where the property is going to be located and perhaps potentially what time of year they might be able to purchase one of the houses if they were interested?
Gladly. There's 52 units near the intersection of Pine and Hayes, which is by the fire station. The units, my expectation is models will be under construction this calendar year in December. We'll be putting a sign up probably in the next couple of weeks out front that'll have an email, a website for people to pre-register, to be contacted when we have more information. But everything else is ready. So the houses to buy, my expectation is first quarter of next year.
Awesome.
Great. That's great.
Barring any rain or unforeseen natural events, it's going to take about 4 months to finish the infrastructure.
Good deal. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you for your patience.
And do you have a house now that's for sale that has any connection? I don't know if you would want to call it a model. It's not located on that site, but if someone...
We did a spec house at the corner of Dartmouth and Congress. It is not for sale. It sold about 4 hours after we listed it.
Great.
So it's actually sold. It closes in 2 weeks. But it has some of the, we're just practicing the details, the columns, the brickwork, stonework, some interior finishes, a little bit higher price, but not too much.
Maybe have to get a tour before they move
Yes,
in.
you're welcome to, Maria, we'd love for you to go inside. The details
I'd like
are
to do that.
Yeah.
significant. If you want to know, we'll corral it, make sure it's open during the day. It's been landscaped. The only thing missing is some paint touch-up and some carpet, and then the closing. So you have less than 2 weeks. So we're very excited.
Maybe if we finish that workshop is it next Friday?
There's one Monday.
11.
Oh, Monday. We have the one Monday on that.
4 hours after it listed?
Yeah, Monday
Yes.
we probably could have.
Like
Oh, we're
over
all
the
here.
phone, or did somebody
Yeah.
actually go see it and buy it?
I have no idea. Just we got a contract, and
He doesn't care as long as you're buying
Hang on,
it.
that one or
I wasn't in charge of the sale.
priorities.
That's just what I was told, and I'll
Monday or
take it.
Friday.
Yeah, Monday or Friday next week would be great for
Okay, well,
We have the workshop, the Market Square one, and we also have our ranking of our priorities on Friday. Friday, we might be done a little bit earlier, do you think, or no?
we'll make sure it's open if you just give us a heads up. It's
Yeah.
really right down the block, but you'll see the finishes, the details, the cabinetry, the same. That's how we built the last house on Jefferson that also sold within a week.
Yeah.
But we certainly build them different than others as far as detail go. We expect to do the same at Hayes Park
Okay.
Village.
Hayes Park Village.
And the reason I brought that up is someone, while it's not the exact same house that will be in Hayes Park Village, in terms of something to look at, that someone could just drive by the street and say, here's something that I can see, that is something they could drive by and look at today. And it's on the corner of Dartmouth and
Congress. That is correct. Same exact details, the siding above, the stucco. There's another house on Jefferson that has a front porch of a similar nature that we built.
Right. In
Somebody lives there
terms
now.
of some of the architectural features, they could look at that house
correct.
and get some idea.
Porches, details,
The
colors,
flavor. Get the
flavor.
flavor.
Yes.
Get the flavor.
And if you would like to go visit the inside, we can arrange that too, which will also be the same thing, Bruce. People can't drive by and stop in there. I don't think people would like that, but well, it's still ours. We'll be glad to show you.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Love to.
I'd like to do that, yeah. So we'll figure out which one of those days works the best for
Yes,
everybody.
and just let Brian know, and we'll get you in.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Sounds like he dubbed it Hayes Park Village, I think, is what you're telling me.
Hey.
Anything else?
That's all for tonight. Thank you.
City Clerk.
Well, our Charter Review Committee gets started tomorrow at 6:30. Of course, it's sunshine, it's a public meeting, and the public is welcome to attend. It's the first Wednesday, 6:30, in the work session room next to the council chamber.
And if any council member or Bruce, any charter official would like to make a recommendation, they can do so at that meeting or here in public, correct? Tom?
Yeah, or any of the meetings, because there are
That's what I mean, that
probably-
meeting or, yeah,
Yeah, be a number of them.
yep, okay.
That's all I have.
That's it, thank you. City Council, the first item is consider Resolution 2013-23 requesting continued effort of our Florida State Congressional Delegation in amending or revising the Biggert Waters Flood Insurance Reform Act of 2013. This was a request that I made and that pretty much everybody in Pinellas County has made. I did understand that Governor Scott was at PRO today, the real estate organization, and one of although he vowed to fight for, us, the homeowners, and in that particular case, realtors, someone kind of under the breath asked why you didn't start doing this a year ago instead of October 1. And so kind of a little bittersweet there, but I don't know. Jerry's always got his opinion on resolutions, as do all of us, but I think it's something that collectively we as a county need to do. And
Well, I agreed with this as long as you had a letter under your name written to both senators, inviting them here to stand before us, or any of the representatives. Have you done that yet?
Actually, that was the motion, and I don't have the letters yet, so we'll see if we can get on the letters and get those. Tom needs to read the resolution by title only.
Yes, I'll read Resolution 2013-23, a resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, requesting the continued effort of our Florida State Congressional Delegation in amending and revising the Biggert Water Flood Insurance Reform Act of 2012 and providing for an effective date hereof. That was reading of Resolution 2013-23 by title only.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Only one thing. Scott's not the one to be chastised.
No, I understand.
It's our two senators and our congressman that needs to be chastised.
I agree.
Thank you. That's all.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is, here we are. Look at that. Council comments. And we'll start with Ms. Norris down there on the end. Hi.
Hi. I'd like to say that the Gold Star Family event was wonderful. I did attend. Thank you, Tony. And all of the stories were just so heartwarming. And at the end, the last woman that spoke just pointed out that if we thought that it was hot, imagine what you guys go through, the families and the soldiers and everything. And it didn't even matter. It was just so beautiful. I just wanted to put a website out there for people. Of course, depending on what, no matter how you feel about the Affordable Care Act being enacted today, there's a lot of questions out there and there's a lot of misinformation. So if you want to find some facts out, I attended a nonpartisan, nonprofit seminar kind of thing put on by a group of doctors, and all they want to do is get the word out and get the correct information out. And there's a website called appletreemd.com, and it's just the facts, and it can guide you to where to go to get the navigators and to get the help in order to find out whether or not you're eligible, what kind of, if you are in the position to do so, because it did start today. So it was appletreemd.com. And what I liked about the seminar that I went to was that it wasn't a fight. It wasn't people on the right and people on the left fighting over whether or not it was constitutional, or it wasn't that. All it was a group of doctors that want to make sure that people that are interested in trying to see whether or not they are eligible or anything about it, that they can get that. And they did express the interest in coming into towns, libraries, and giving further information. So I was going to talk to Bruce about that to see if maybe we could get them to come in to the library and have a night where they can answer y'all's questions and everything. So just wanted to put that out there, and I'm glad you're feeling better. And I'm glad you're here. Thank you. That's it.
Councilmember McGee, he or her, whichever one you want.
I also want to thank Tony and the Gross family and everyone that helped, especially Bruce and Lynn that helped, provide the tent and, make sure there were chairs and things out there for the event, because they were needed and it was really hot. But the event was beautiful, and, thank you for honoring me with allowing to do the introduction for everybody. I also, again, want to apologize that I'll be missing the next meeting. I hope it's a 2-hour-long one, not like this 30-minute one. But I will be in San Jose, California. I started a new role within my day job for Cisco Systems, and I'll be out there for a week of training, and that is the week of October 14th. I also wanted to thank Lisa and Public Works for helping Mrs. Crow. She had wrote me on Facebook, had some flooding issues in her backyard, and so I reached out to Lisa and said, not sure what the city can do, and they actually went out there like the next day, fixed her drainage issues, and she was so happy because then a few weeks later we had all of that rain. So singing your praises, wanted to share that, and then also happy retirement to Pat. Sorry, Dean, I couldn't make the breakfast for her, but just sending her best wishes, and that's all I had.
Thank you. Councilmember Beaverland.
Beware of California.
I'm not moving there. I'm just, I'm in and out.
Beware of California. And it was an incredible event, and it was a great addition to a beautiful park that makes it even more beautiful. And as a mayor, an annual event is great. So, well, you got everybody up here support. You already know that. Okay. My third book is in printing. So my third book on the history of Oldsmar, within probably the next month, I'll even see that you get a copy.
Thank you.
But you have to go to the library and get it.
Okay.
But anyway, it is in print, and it's going to. I think it's going to be the best of the three. I'm also on my fourth book, by the way. But this third book is going to be. You're going to autograph my. I'm going to autograph yours.
Mine still sits on my coffee table, and people look at it all the time.
Yeah.
And again, all the profits goes to the library. Y'all know that. I am requesting. No. Republic, is that our people, our garbage people? I want them right here. I want them right here in front of me. I am requesting at the next council meeting that we have a representative of Republic Garbage right there.
Is that John?
I am tired.
They'll probably send someone, no doubt.
I am tired of the garbage cans 1/3 in all the roads. I'm tired of my garbage can being inside out, upside down in the middle of my driveway, or laying down somewhere in the middle of St. Petersburg Drive. And maybe it's only me.
No.
And all they have to do is answer to me. I don't care. And, if everybody else is happy, that's fine. I'm not happy. And I want them right there in front of me. Okay? Thank you, ma'am. At the next council meeting.
I won't be here for that. That's unfortunate.
Senator Rubio and the governor should be here.
He won't be here for that.
I'm missing all the
kidding
fun
me?
ones.
And I just want to ask one question. If I want to put grass in my yard, do I have to get a permit?
No.
No, okay. I already know the answer to that. What if I want to put rocks in my yard? Do I have to get a permit?
No.
I don't get a permit, do I? If I want my yard just to be rocks, little tiny rocks.
not permitted to have rocks.
Long as it's pervious, I have to get a permit, do I?
Gravel.
Like Xeriscape, like they do in the old folks communities.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down in South St. Pete.
Long as it's
The
pervious.
old communities, yeah.
They do it in
Long as it's pervious. Long as it's pervious, I don't need a permit, do I? Yes.
You're not going to.
I'm
Put rocks in your yard?
No, I'm helping out a resident.
He's asking for a friend. So I have this friend.
I
Is
was
that
going
what
to say,
that
you
was?
could have just
No, I don't
emailed me
even
for
know.
that answer.
People in Gulf Air just say, call Jerry.
Yeah.
Or maybe they say, call Doug, or call Gabby, or call somebody. But a lot of them call me, and I'm helping them. You know, we all do that, all of us.
Yes.
Even Janice helps people out
Now,
there.
do they have to get permission from the HOA though if it's in Gulf Air?
That's within their HOA if they permit it or not.
Yes, right. And I think that's it. And it wasn't hot out there for me, okay?
Well, you were in the gazebo.
He was outside. He was outside the gazebo in the sun.
Outside of
He
the
was on the
gazebo.
wrong side of the gazebo.
I was on the outside of the gazebo, but it was a great.
Sir, you didn't have pantyhose on.
Didn't have anyone.
Very happy about that.
How do you know that?
I was going to reserve my
Having pantyhose on.
Thank you, Jerry, for the
And that's it. Just thank you all who you are.
Okay. You sure? You done?
As long as you don't bring something up.
Janice?
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Miller?
Oh, yes, and yeah, bless you. Bless you.
I just want everybody to know that I feel better than I sound. I don't know if I'm ever going to get this side of the vocal cords back. And if I do, it'll be a while yet.
And you're beautiful looking.
Oh, thank you. And that's the reason, one of the reasons I couldn't come, because I'd had my chemo.
It's been too
I
hot out
can't
there.
get in crowds.
It'd been too hot out
And,
there.
but I know it went well. And I just want to thank everybody that has called and sent cards and offered to help or do what they can. This is an inspiring community. It really, truly is. We are so lucky to live here.
You're an inspiring lady.
Thank you, dear. My.
You also make us mad, but we love you for it.
I know, you too. You too.
Is your dog adjusting to the attention?
Well, yeah. Yeah, she stays pretty close to me because she knows Daddy will come and be with her too. Okay, other than that, I have nothing else.
Thank you. I only have a couple of things. I'll echo Councilmember McGee's thing to Public Works. I had sent an email to Bruce about State Street and Lee, and I know we had all that flooding, but they got right out there and corrected it. And I got an email or text, something from the owner, and it's the little things like that the responsiveness that we get from our staff that just makes it our job up here, so great. But we pass that on to you guys, so thanks for that. Got to do two things today. Actually, former council member Seidel called me late last night and said his daughter at Montessori School in Palm Harbor had to interview somebody. Their little team, newspaper team, had to interview somebody, and he wondered if I would go do it. So I arranged that this morning, and I forget how fun those kids are. And if you ever get a chance to, do a Great American Teach-In or help out with that, it's just an awesome thing. And it was kind of funny. You go into the Montessori school, the fifth graders, and it was four of them, Haley and her three schoolmates that interviewed me, and they had their questions all written out, and they took all the notes, and they wanted to know if we own Walmart and, what cool things we're going to do. And then and while we're there off to the side, all the other kids are poking their head around the corner just watching. And so then when we finished, I went over and talked to the whole class, and they sat and very respectful and asked questions of various type, both my radio career and being the mayor. And it's really neat. It's an opportunity. I mean, the one kid asked about the work stoppage for the government, today, and what that meant. And they asked a lot of questions. They asked if I was married. They asked how much money I made. The typical kid questions.
Personal.
Yeah, and things like that. And then I made the mistake of, I had a stack of business cards, so I handed it to one kid, and then they just flocked and wanted my cards and autograph and all that, it's really neat to do that. And then as I was leaving, calling former council member Seidel to tell him that I was done, I said, I just realized I gave 25 little kids my cell phone number. So, so at any rate, that was great. And then I got to go with Mayor Archie from Tarpon Springs and a lot of the staff from here to go to the new Oldsmar Wellness Center. And wow, is that neat. What a great facility up there. And they did an excellent job. I didn't get a chance to see it before, but I heard it was pretty much in shambles before we got in there, but it looks great. And Dean's already used it, and it's a great facility. And I think one of the things that we did in doing, or the thought in doing that, was because times are tough, and if it's just something as simple as a deductible that they don't have to pay, or prescriptions that they don't have to pay for, it might encourage them to go and get some medical help for even some of the smaller things that, wellness, and it'll keep them from getting something maybe a little bit bigger. So that was it. I have nothing else. The ceremony was great. I got to tell you, I was married for 10 years and raised two young kids till they went to high school, and then one joined the Navy, and recently one joined the Air Force. And it was so touching that I even, and we don't talk a lot, we don't dislike each other, but I text my the two ones' mom and told her that I was at your ceremony and that it inspired me, and I wanted to just tell her how great her kids were, and that she's got a terrific mom. She only has two, and the two of them are in there in the military serving the country, and so it's neat, and it's a sad occasion, but it's kids like yours and the other parents that were there that, it's what make us a really great country, and they sacrificed their life for it, and we thank you for the ceremony. And as Councilmember Beaverland said, you've got at least my support, and I'm sure everybody's up here to continue to do that. That's what the park's for. So having nothing else, I needed a motion for the approval of the tentative agenda for October 15th.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.